Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I do have a new MOC to show you guys, the Mayan temple. I built this MOC for a collaboration entitled Regiment, hosted by a Kimbolug, of which I am a member. The greatest thing about this MOC is that it's not done. Yeah, I didn't have nearly enough bricks to make the whole entire thing, so I had to settle for 2 sides. Anyway, let's jump right into the techniques used in this MOC, starting with the bottom. Up at the very front we have 3 figs, including a Mayan man, woman, and priest. There's nothing specifically interesting about these figures, however, the Mayan priest does have a pretty cool staff, and I did attach his headdress using a rayan. The headdress also happens to be an upside down mohawk. Next up we've got 3 small structures, including 2 Mayan stelae and a rack for selling cloth. The Mayan stelae were built by stacking a couple of smaller segments on top of each other with a central bar for support. Most segments had a piece in the middle that would allow for as many connections as possible, such as a 1x1 modified brick with 4 studs on its side. The cloth rack is very simple. It's basically just a bunch of bars held together using clips with small pieces of cloth slid on them. And last but not least, we've got the plants used at the base of the temple. Only 2 types of plants were used, both very easy to build. The first type consists of 1 stem and 3 modified 1x1 plates. The second plant uses 1 stem and 3 leaf pieces, each one placed on a separate prong. Later on, I usually add a flower or 2 for more detail. Now we get to the real meat of the model, meaning the walls with an unrealistic amount of texturing. I mean, this is supposedly how it looked like in its heyday, but I don't see any round parts with the word Lego sticking out of the walls. But I couldn't build something with no texture if my life depended on it, so yeah. The wall is generally split into 3 parts. The first is the corner, consisting of 4 wedge plates placed at an angle to get the right shape. I achieved the correct angle using 1x1 plates with clips attached to a bar. The next section is simply a strip 4 plates wide placed on a white tile, which is also attached to the same bar as the modified plates with clips I mentioned previously. The white tile is likewise put at an angle to make the wall tilted. The third section consists of 2 walls, one placed a stud farther than the other. The walls are built from a mixture of plates, tiles, profile bricks, headlight bricks, and slopes. I achieved the angle at which they're placed using a basic 1x2 hinge. Once I had built each section, I filled in the gap above the wedge plates with 2 cheese slips. They fill the gap perfectly, the only problem is that they're not attached to anything. Which is why, whenever I do this... Once the walls were finished, I had to figure out a way to cover them. It took me a while to get it right, but I finally came up with a way to do this using snot bricks, brackets, and a combination of 2x2 round bricks, modified round tiles, and a technic axle to create a small pillar that would get me the right offset and height that I needed. For the top of the temple, nothing really stands out to me as a technique. I literally just included any pattern that popped into my head while I was building this. So if I were to make one suggestion to someone making Mayan greebling, it would just be to have fun and don't be afraid to include anything you come up with, no matter how it looks like by itself. Now that we've got all the techniques and tricks done, which is almost none, I would like to say that, for the record, this is one of my least favorite MOCs I've ever created in my entire life. Obviously it's better than some other ones I made, but it's my least favorite because it's so boring. It's just a big hunk of light bluish gray. I mean, the top is kind of interesting. Besides that, there's no really cool techniques used. It's just a bunch of textured wall. I mean, I guess if you're into a big blocks of blay, then this is the MOC for you. But, man, I can't stand... I can't... Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. If that didn't record, I'm gonna be so angry.